Tonight, fellas, what we're going to do is we are going to have a look at the process of dealing with 1v1s. So it's a very, very broad subject, and there's so many variables in dealing with 1v1s. I don't think there's ever one set perfect solution for any kind of problem that you face. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and generalize a little bit of it. We're going to try and get you thinking about what you see and how you might react to what you see, as opposed to going, right, well, the ball's in the middle, I'm going to spread. Or the ball's out wide, I'm going to defend my goal. Or the attacker's took a heavy touch, I'm going to go out to the ball. We're going to have a look at quite a bit. And what you'll see is, although I've said certain things for certain scenarios, you might be able to piece different bits together based on what you observe in a game. So what we'll do is, I'm just going to show you, I think it's about 14 different 1v1 scenarios. I just want you to have a look at them. Think about what you're seeing, not just around the attacker and the goalkeeper, but around the ball as well, in terms of defenders, in terms of support players, in terms of what the attacker's doing, what the goalkeeper's doing, and what the outcome is. So you'll see that although the ball might be coming from similar areas, for most of these, the kind of like the build-up's different, the outcome's different. But one thing that we are seeing is a goalkeeper becoming or being successful in each of these scenarios, doing different things, but making sure that everything that they're doing at the right time. And making sure that everything, obviously, they're doing as well is based on observation. And what we'll do is all these scenarios that you'll see here, we'll break a couple down later on. We'll explain why, or I explain why I think the goalkeeper's been successful in each certain scenario. Okay, so what we'll look at first of all is attributes. So these are the things that I personally think that you need to have to be successful in a 1v1 scenario. So first of all, aggression. It's probably a word that a lot of people are looking at and going, why has he said that? Aggression used in the correct way can help you become or be successful in any type of physical duel, whether it's a 1v1 or whether it's a high cross, whether it's a ball outside the area that you're coming to sweep up. This isn't a case, and the goalkeepers that I work with on a regular basis know what I'm going to say. It's not a case of coming out with intent to hurt. It is an explosive, committed action that will eventually lead to you winning the ball. It's about being positive, and it's about committing. Anticipation. So we've got to recognize certain patterns and see certain things happening, and kind of anticipate potentially a ball coming through, and understanding what we need to do and when we need to do it. Bravery. Obviously, other than the obvious one of having to dive and attacker's feet, you've seen there with Kasper Schmeichel, you've got to be in a position where you throw everything at the ball. You've got to be willing to take a hit to keep the ball out the back of the net. Composure. So in these scenarios, you don't want to be too rash. You don't just want to be throwing yourself at things. You don't just want to be diving for the sake of diving. You want to make sure that you're calm and you're able to think clearly and process information and come to the correct solution. Confidence. That couples with bravery. You've got to be confident in diving at feet. You've got to be confident in throwing yourself at the ball. You've got to be even confident in the decisions that you're making. Concentration. Obviously, the ball's being played around in dangerous areas, or it might come from a counter-attack. you've got to make sure that you switched on to scenario, determination. So you'll see, or you would have seen in the video there, there's a couple of times when the attackers took a touch past the goalkeeper. You've got to have that determination to keep yourself upright, to be able to recover, to keep the ball out the back of the net. You've got to have good positioning. So it's one of the first things that we'll come on to. Where do you stand in relation to the ball? Whether that's in the opposition's half, whether it's in the middle third, whether it's in your defensive third. And you've got to have good speed and good acceleration from a standing start. Oh, don't know how that's happened. Right, let's get back through these. Okay, so first of all, we're going to have a look at your start position. So where do you stand in relation to the ball? So what we've done is we've sectioned off into areas. So when the ball's further away from the penalty area, you can position yourself further away from your goal. So you're looking to defend the spacing behind your defenders and also defend your penalty area. As the ball gets closer to your penalty area and naturally closer to your goal, you should be looking to get closer to your goal. So then you're thinking about defending not only your goal, but defend your penalty area as well. As well as that, your start position can be dictated by your defensive line. So if you see here, I've generalised it a little bit. So where you've got 2, it relates to number 2 next to the goal. If your defence is playing very high, you might actually be edging into 1 because you've got that threat in behind you now. So again, everything can be quite fluid, but with what you're seeing here, I'm generalising it maybe a little bit more. Approaching. So you would notice there that in terms of the attacks, they're all coming from different areas. So we'll have a look first of all at a central attack, and then we'll have a look at wide attack. So central attack. So as you can see there, areas where you need to defend your area and when you need to defend your goal. So when the ball's outside the area, you want to be thinking about defending your goal, whilst also being prepared to defend the area if you see a through ball, if the attacker breaks through your defence or gets past your last man. So naturally, when the ball's outside the area and the attack is in control, there's very little that we can do as goalkeepers. So the best thing that you can do is drop back, defend your goal, make life a little bit harder, make the attacker work a little bit harder to get into a goal scoring opportunity. Outside the area, you can't use your hands if they're in control, but they can essentially do what they want to do with the ball. If the attacker advances into the area, you should be prepared to go out and engage them. So this is only when there is no defenders recovering. If the attacker's in control of the ball, you need to be in control of your movements. So every time they take a touch, you advance by taking a step. Every time they get back onto the ball, look to stop and control. As they're prepared to take another touch, think about stepping, or if they're preparing to shoot, you should be in a position where you're set and you can respond in the appropriate way, whether that is a save, so in terms of shot stopping, whether that's spread or whether you're blocking, depending on the distance that you are away from the defender. If the attacker's advancing quicker and they're taking bigger touches, you can advance quicker whilst also being in a position where you can stop and control as they get close at the ball each time. So you think they take a big touch, the next touch when they get on the ball could be a shot. You don't want to still be moving as that ball's travelling towards you and travelling towards a goal. As you're getting close at the ball, get lower. So you don't want to start low. If the attacker is 15 yards away, what you want to be thinking about is making yourself bigger. So make yourself big in each scenario. So if you're further away and you're standing really low, the attacker sees more of the goal. If you stand a bit bigger, so a bit taller, a bit wider in your set, to see less of it. as you get closer, they start to see more of you and less of the goal, so you need to become more compact. So that's a lot lower, feet closer together, hands lower, body, head over the ball. And be prepared to stop between 1 yard and 2 yards away from the ball. You don't want the ball sitting on your toes, basically, when the attacker's in control of it, because any kind of quick touch to the side takes you out of the game and it reduces your reaction time massively. If they're still in control of the ball, look to engage, maintain your low body position, remain patient. So the longer you stand, the longer you have them in front of you, the more time your defenders have got and your teammates have got to recover, even to potentially make a challenge or to drop back and defend your goal for you. If they take a heavier touch, obviously what you're thinking about there is, are you able to win the ball? So can you go and smother? Or if they've got a better chance of getting to the ball before you, can you slow down, control and engage the attacker? So getting close, getting low, stopping. Be prepared to either spread if you're further away from the ball, or block if you're close at the ball and the attacker prepares to strike. Once you've engaged the attacker, can you look for opportunities? So this is when you're 1 to 2 yards away. Can you look for opportunities to smother the ball on a heavy touch to the side of you or a poor touch? Or think about blocking a shot if they shape to shoot? Or other than that, what the attacker is going to want to do is create an angle. So can you try and force the attacker wide by keeping your body in between the ball and the goal? Delay or slow down the attack. Can I just ask whoever's still got the mic on, can you turn it off, please? If you can just pop yourself on mute. Thank you. So there again, what you're looking to do is you're looking to delay, you're looking to slow down the attack. You're preventing any opportunities for them to strike the ball. So angle or a wide approach. When the attacker's approaching from an angle, naturally the angle's going to work against them. The more you start to advance down the line, the more you reduce your reaction time, and actually the more of the goal they have to hit, they can start to hit little angles around your body. So if they're advancing from a wide position, it's better to hold kind of in and around your 6 yard area. Again, there, be more patient, hold your 6, and initially look to defend the goal, because at that time you don't know whether they're going to drive inside or if they're going to drive down towards a byline. Assess the angle, pace and approach of the attacker, remain in a good position to defend the goal, but also defend the area should you see a poor touch. Recognise when to defend your goal, when to go and engage the attacker, and when to go and win the ball. So if the attacker is driving towards a goal or towards the centre of the area, be prepared to make a save to engage the attacker as they get close at the goal, or to block, spread or smother the ball, depending on what you see. If the attacker is driving wide of the goal, moving down towards a byline, be prepared to deal with a shot from the angle or to deal with a low cross across the penalty area. So what you'll see here is where the green box finishes on the left, where the goalkeeper stand, where the red box finishes. You don't really want to be coming outside the line of your post, which I'll explain a little bit later. So we've done this a few weeks ago, those that were on the programme. Communication, what you communicate and when. So if the attacker's through on goal and the defender isn't getting close enough in time, you need to focus on the attacker on the ball and go and engage the attacker, so you're defending your area, and you're then instructing your recovering defender to go and defend the goal. So the most simple thing you could say to them is go goal. So you don't want too many bodies in around the ball. It gets a little bit messy. So if you can go and engage the attacker, they go and defend your goal. If the attacker's through on goal and the defender's closing quickly or they're close, you want to be thinking about defending your goal. And as they get close at the attacker, you can instruct them to go ball. additional piece of information that you might be looking to use in here if the defender does get into a position to engage the attacker. Don't dive, stand up, show wide, no shot, body in, just so you're preventing any kind of possibility of giving away a penalty or allowing an easy shot for the attacker. And obviously, as the threat gets greater, so the closer the goal, you want to increase the urgency in what you're putting across, and you want to be communicating less frequently. So you might only say it once or twice because your main focus now is on the ball and on the scenario. You don't want to be talking too much and kind of losing focus on what's going on. So key points. These are some of the key things that I think you can do, and some of the key things that you can use to be successful in a 1v1 scenario. So the first thing is deny the attacker space, whether it's space to move into or whether it is areas of the goal to aim at. So if they're further away, defend your goal. If they get closer, start to restrict the space that they can move into. And again, what you're doing is you're showing them less of the goal by getting close at the ball. Delay. So be patient. Again, I mentioned it before, you don't want to be diving in, you don't want to be doing anything too rash. Keep your body in between the ball and the goal and wait for your opportunity. It might be that your defender recovers or the attacker makes a mistake. Don't make their decision too easy by trying to rush into anything or falling off balance or throwing yourself at something that isn't really there. So you'll see a lot of keepers like the spread now, when potentially a shot isn't coming, or when they could stand up and make a save if they're too far away. Just be patient. Put all the emphasis on the attacker beating you. They're meant to come out on top in these 1v1 scenarios. The harder you make it for them, obviously, the harder it is for them to score a goal. So you're going to deflect. So you don't want the attacker running towards goal. You don't want them in the middle of the area. You want them to go wider. Obviously, the wider they go, the tighter the angle, the lesser the goal to see, the harder the shot's going to be. And defend. So make the right decisions on when to defend your area and when to defend the goal. So going back to what we've talked about before, that's about the pace, the direction of the attacker. It's about whether they're in control of the ball, not in control of the ball, taking heavy touches, or the inside the area, the outside the area. So they're the things there that you want to think about. Again, we mentioned it before, positive and aggressive. Stick by any decisions you make and execute each action with controlled aggression. So again, it's not an absolutely no. Am I saying go out there to hurt somebody? It is this aggression, this controlled aggression, this explosive, powerful action is to protect yourself. Confidence. Be aware that there might be contact, but be confident in your ability to execute your actions effectively, which would in turn reduce your chances of being hurt. So thinking about how you're going to protect yourself in each scenario, how you're going to approach each scenario, and obviously, as I say, be confident in what you do. If you're not confident, it reflects in your actions, which then can lead to injury. If you're doing something, do it 100%, but do it 100% safely. So this brings one to a number of different ways that I think that we can deal with 1v1s. So kind of like the when, the why, and the how. So the first one we're going to look at is smothering. So as you can see there from Hugo Lloris, just out of shot, you've got this a couple of years ago. So it was when Oscar was playing for Chelsea. He's effectively diving at feet there. He's smothering the ball. He's taking away that opportunity for the attacker to get back on the ball. In our example, you'll see a different type of smother. So when are you going to smother? either when you're close and you've engaged the attacker and the attacker takes a touch to the side of you that you can dive on or that you can attack, or after a heavy touch, a poor touch, or a heavy through ball the attacker hasn't yet got in control of, or the attackers let their touch get away from them. So why would you do it? You've got a high probability of winning the ball and stopping an attack or preventing a shot. How are you going to do it? You're going to keep your body low. You're going to either step with the lead leg or collapse. This is when you've engaged. So depending on how far the attacker is away from you and how far their touch is away from you, you can either step into it or you can collapse, making sure that you get your head and your hands in behind the ball, tuck your chin into your chest to protect your head, and bring your top knee up in front of your stomach. So your hands on the ball and tucking your chin in is going to protect your head. That top knee in front of your stomach is going to effectively protect your body. If the attackers took a heavy touch or the run on a heavy through ball, take a positive step towards the ball with your closest leg, driving your body over your lead leg with your hands outstretched towards the ball. So this is going to be a big diagonal movement. Keep your wrists strong and lock your elbows if there's a chance of contact. So you don't want soft elbows and soft wrists if there's a chance of contact. That's when the ball can't spill out. And keep your head in behind your arms and behind the ball for protection. So what we'll see here, you would have seen that at the start, the Joe Hart scenario. So I'll play the clip and we'll break down what's good about it. Heavy touch, opportunity to go and smother. So he hasn't secured the ball. So you can see there, he's beaten the last man. He's recognised the angle and the pace the attacker makes, and he knows he has to now go and defend his area. He sees a heavy touch, he gets lower, and this enables him to get down quickly at, I think that's Neymar's feet. Now you can see his arms are locked out, he's got strong wrists, and effectively he's created a strong barrier behind the ball. He's braced for impact, and he's come out on top in that scenario. So beat the last man, heavy touch, smother, secured the ball, prevented a goal scoring opportunity. Now we're going to have a look at blocking. So when would you block? I think anywhere between kind of 2 and 4 yards away from the attacker when you can see them preparing to strike the ball. So it might be that you've engaged, they've taken a touch to the side, you can't smother it, you see them prepared to strike, you shift your feet, you keep your body low, you explode into a block. So as I've just mentioned there, that's the exact scenario. Why would you use a block? You're not close enough or you don't have the time to smother the ball. And also what you want to think about here is your distance between yourself and the ball. So you might see in these scenarios some goalkeepers spreading. So with the spread, although essentially your body looks bigger and you're covering a bigger surface area, you're making your body a bigger surface area, you're actually creating a lot of gaps for the ball to squeeze through. So the gap in between your legs, the gap in between your legs and your arms, and then obviously as you're dropping down, the gap above you as well. So you need to try and create this nice compact shape that makes a larger barrier between the ball and the goal. So you think if you're closer, the attacker sees less of the goal. So effectively, you've got less area to defend. So by keeping tight, the attacker, you're essentially taking that goal scoring opportunity away from the attacker. And as you can see there from the lines drawn, there isn't much space there between the goalkeeper's feet and the lines. So you're effectively defending the full goal with your block. So how? You're going to keep your body low. This is if the attacker's shifting the ball to the side. Step laterally to keep your body between the ball and the goal. Use a slight diagonal step forwards and step in the direction of the striking foot. So if they're striking with their left foot, which would be on your left side, you would step left towards the ball. Drop the opposite knee in over. So you would make kind of either like a K barrier shape or a long barrier shape with the opposite leg. So I've stepped out with my left leg, my right leg comes in to make, as I say, like a K or an L shape. And that obviously reduces the space in between your legs. Keep your head and your body square and over the top of the ball. So what this does is this limits any space over your body. So you're reducing the amount of time the ball can travel up over, and defend the space at the side of your body with your hands and your arms. So again, keeping them nice and tight. You don't want them coming way above your head, leaving gaps. You want them going towards the ball, restricting the amount of distance the ball can travel. So although we might not see a shot here, what Dubravka does, he limits that space. The attacker, you can see, if you do slow it down, the attacker actually goes to strike the ball and he changed his mind. So at the moment, Dubravka needs to think about defending his goal. The ball's outside the area. There's a threat of a shot. Sees this late runner. Ball's played through. He gets out onto his front foot and he starts to defend his goal. So as he gets there, he starts to get low. And this automatically reduces the angle that the attacker has. It reduces the amount of goal the attacker can see. And he drops into this block shape. So this is a point when the attacker actually kind of miskicks the ball. He realizes that he can't get a shot off. So he miskicks it. He changes his mind. He shifts the ball to the side. At this point, Dubravka's kept his balance. He's been able to recover. He's forced the attacker wide, and he's able to defend the goal and keep the ball out the back of the net. So block and wide, slightly different. So we don't need to advance as far down the line when the ball's in wide areas, if we remember from earlier. So when the ball's between 2 and 5 yards away, or when you're between 2 and 5 yards away from the attacker and they're preparing to strike from an angle, when they're driving towards the goal from a wide position, preparing to strike the ball from around the 6 yard area. So you don't need to be advancing too far. Wide areas, probably no more than 6 yards, unless you see a poor touch or an opportunity to go and win the ball. You wouldn't necessarily go chasing anything out there if you haven't got a really, really good chance of going to win the ball. So why? The angle. So the angle's a lot tighter from wide angles. So the attacker effectively has less of the goal to aim at. So it's a lot harder to get a shot off from there. By defending your goal, you can delay the attacker's decision. So I've seen it a lot with professionals as well, coming out past the near post, kind of rushing towards attackers when they're in wide areas. I think actually, if anybody watched it, Newcastle, Man United, Caldolo done it for Dan James's goal. If he holds his position, I think he quite comfortably makes a save. And also by defending your goal in these wide areas, you can be prepared for a ball played square to a supporting player. So again, how you're going to do it, we've spoke about it. Keep your body low, attack the side that the attacker's striking from, drop the opposite knee in over to restrict or limit the space in between your legs, and keep your head chest forwards, reducing any kind of height. But depending on the distance as well, you might take up a taller block position, as we see in this next clip. So if you're closer, your head's going to come forwards. If you're a little bit further away, you might be a touch taller. So this is this season. So you see that here's a touch further away, so his body position's a bit higher. So defender's lost the ball, messing on in a dangerous area. First thing he does is in that transition, he takes a positive step towards the ball, 6-yard line. He's low, his feet are closer together, and he's preparing for what the attacker's going to do next. The attacker pulls to strike. As he makes contact, De Gea's in that block position already. Again, he's a bit further away, so maybe he's 3 to 4 yards, so he needs to be higher. And obviously, after he's made his block, he's had to remain active. The ball's still in play. He needs to recover, and he needs to make sure that the attacker doesn't get a second opportunity, which he does well. Spreading. So probably the most overused technique, I think, at the moment. It's one of these modern trends that can be effective and is effective when used at the right time. So when I would say anywhere between 4 and 6 yards away from the ball, as you see the attacker preparing to strike. So you can see from the image here that the space either side of the goalkeeper is a little bit bigger. So dropping in that block position, you're not defending the majority of your goal. So by getting into this spread shape, you can effectively defend more of your goal. So you do it when the attackers run through on goal and they're preparing to strike the ball early, as you're moving forwards to engage them. So it could be a through ball that they're approaching to strike. It could be a touch out the feet that they're approaching to strike. So recognizing when they're preparing to strike the ball. So why would you use a spread? As I've mentioned, you're too far away from the ball for the block to be effective, obviously, unless the ball's struck straight at you. And you're too close to the ball to be able to set your feet and give yourself a good opportunity to react to the shot. So again, you would also use it because you've got more of the goal to defend. You need to make your body wider and taller as the attacker prepares to make contact. So how? You'll set your feet a touch wider, which gives your body a better chance of getting wide and low quick. On contact with the ball, you're going to drive the closest leg out over. So again, if they're striking with their right foot, you would be driving your left foot out over. Your opposite knee drops in over. So again, making that kind of L shape. You want to be dropping your hips directly at the ball, directly at the floor, keeping your body in line with the ball. And you're going to keep your upper body tall and your arms wide, whilst also keeping your body square at the ball. So you'll see here, we'll actually see Kasper Schmeichel executed effectively twice. So again, defender loses a ball in a dangerous area. Schmeichel recognises this. He needs to transition. He steps out of the defender's area. The attacker gets in control of the ball, so he sets. Also, at this point, you've got your defender recovering. As the attacker prepares to make contact, you can see the distance is probably verging on 4 yards. He's took half a step out and he's dropped his body low and he's made himself wide quickly, which has effectively narrowed the angle. It's made the goal a lot smaller. He's kept his body square, making his surface area bigger. Obviously, his body's come big as well. Again, he's remained active. Danny Ings gets back onto the ball. He adjusts laterally to the defender's goal, non-contact again. He spreads. And again, obviously delayed the shot by holding his ground. he's given himself a great opportunity to make a save. Next one, defending the goal. So you're not always going to have opportunities to get out to the ball, even as the attacker advances into the area, depending on your start position. It might be that a shot comes from outside the area, or a shot comes just as the attacker gets into the area. So when are you going to defend your goal to set to make a save? 7+ yards, when there's too much distance between yourself and the attacker or the ball, or when the attacker's outside the area. Why? You've got enough time and space to set your feet to prepare to make the save. So again, going back to the spread, too close to set and react. This 7+ yards, it should give you enough time to set your feet to make the save. You would also look to defend the goal when the attacker's preparing to strike the ball early and you're too far away to effectively use the spread technique. How? If the attacker's just entered the penalty area and is in controlled, take controlled steps, maintaining a wider base and taking up a lower, wider set position. So this lower, wider set position here, it kind of takes away the need to step if you need to take or make a bigger dive. So taking your wider base, you can transfer your weight on your closest foot to drive out instead of stepping and then diving. So you're effectively making up time. Or you're going to strike if you're going to defend the goal if the attacker's outside the area. You're going to use shorter steps to defend your goal, and you're going to maintain a regular set position. Obviously, being prepared to make the save, so you're already set as the attacker's preparing to strike. So the here again. So as the ball's played through, red arrow there, he can't come out. The attacker is too close to the ball. You've got a defender recovering well. Obviously, the defender's forcing him wide. De Gea's going to initially hold his position there in case of a shot. You see him as the attacker takes another touch, he drops, he sets. You've got your defender there engaging, so De Gea doesn't need to come out. He can focus on dropping, setting, and making the save. So he doesn't drop too far there. He sets, there's a potential of a shot, drops, sets, potential of a shot. He doesn't continue to move. As the attacker gets into control of the ball, he controls himself, which puts him in a great position to make that save. Defend the goal wide. So I mentioned it before. Where you can avoid it, don't come out past the line of your post. So you can see there the two white lines. You don't need to come out past them when the ball's in wide areas. So when the attacker's taking a controlled angle approach towards your goal, or when the distance between yourself and the ball is too big for the block to be effective. Why? Again, the angle works against the attacker. They see less of the goal the closer they get to either the goal or the byline. So if they're getting closer at the goal, obviously they start to see more of yourself as a goalkeeper and less of the goal. If they get closer at the byline, they start to see less of the goal due to the angle. The attacker's too far away from you for you to be able to go and engage them, or for you to effectively use a block technique. And you have enough space and time to be able to set your feet to react. So how? Stay within the line of your posts and in line with the ball. So your line is ball, body, middle of the goal. You're going to set a little bit taller if the attack is further away. And as they get closer, you would set lower and wider. So we've got Martinez of Villa here. So again, you see there, he's recognised the threat of the through ball and the runner. So you can see there his left foot, he's prepared to go. The attacker, or the ball's played into the attacker, so he holds his position initially. Obviously, with the attacker, with the defender recovering as well, he doesn't need to go. He's took a small step as the attacker's allowed the ball to run across his body. He's set his feet. Obviously, the recovering defender's in there as well. He recognises he doesn't need to go and engage, so he stands, he holds his ground, and he ends up making a good save. And again, he's in a position there to remain active to prevent any kind of second opportunity for the attacker. Delaying and deflecting. So when you've engaged the attacker, but they don't take a heavier or poor touch, or don't shape the shoot. So they're literally at this moment in time trying to work an opportunity. You may see a touch, but you potentially can't secure the ball. So why? You don't have an opportunity to smother the ball, block the ball, spread, or make a save. And you don't think that you can secure the ball. So what are you going to do? Keep your body low in between the ball and the goal. Limit or restrict the amount of goal the attacker can see, whilst also limiting the space it can move directly into. Try and force them wide of the goal, so you don't want them driving towards a goal. You see this a lot as well if the attacker's dribbling towards you. Goalkeepers, especially younger goalkeepers, like to drop. Hold your ground, force them to beat you. If you're dropping, all that's happening is you're allowing them to get closer to your goal. If they want to continue to run into you, you can secure the ball. So force them to go around you, and obviously keep your body low. As I said, don't show them any of that goal or much of it. If you're committing to a ball that you don't think you can secure, get a good contact on it to force it far and wide and away from any kind of immediate danger. That'll give yourself and your teammates time to recover. So we've got Jan Oblak here. Big strong hand, push it away. Defender comes across and recovers. So where the ball's come from, he started quite high. So he can't drop too far as the attacker's in control of the ball. He's had to hold his position. Recovering defender there starts to force the attacker wide. The attacker doesn't think he can get the shot off. So Oblak takes control of the scenario. He starts to force the attacker wide as the defender recovers towards a goal. He's keeping his body in between the ball and the goal. Recognises the opportunity to go and affect the ball. He forces the ball wide along with the attacker, forcing them away from goal. So, as I mentioned, that delay tactic allows another recovering defender to get in there to win the ball. And again, here, this is Gaeta. So he recognises a threat of the through ball. He knows he needs to come and defend his area. He gets onto his front foot early to move forwards as the attacker's running onto the ball. So he can now go and engage the attacker. There's no obvious opportunity there for a shot from the attacker. So by keeping his body controlled, he's forcing the attacker wide. It's given his defender an opportunity to go and recover. And eventually, that's Shane Long. He just runs the ball out of play. So, getting to the end of it now. Some tips that I think are useful for young goalkeepers away from the technical side of it. Be patient. So, I mentioned it before. You're not meant to come out on top. Everybody expects the attacker to come out on top in a 1v1 scenario. They expect them to be scoring goals. There's no pressure on you. Be patient. Keep your body in between the ball and the goal. Delay them. Force them wide. Restrict any opportunities to get a shot off. And wait for them to either make a mistake or defend it to recover. And similar to that, put pressure on the attacker to beat you. Don't go throwing yourself at anything and everything. You don't need to. If that opportunity isn't there, keep your body in between the ball and the goal. And I'm going to skip one because it kind of reflects what I've just said there. You don't need to touch the ball to succeed in a 1v1. So you'll see there with Gaeta, he's made himself big. He's put pressure on Shane Long. He's restricted his opportunities to get a shot off. Shane Long's took a heavy touch. He's took the ball out of play. Goal kick. Team's got possession back. They can now go and build an attack. Same as if you put yourself in a position, you've got a recovering defender, the attacker panics and the thrash at the ball, and it goes out, and it goes out for a goal kick, or it goes over the bar, or the miss kick it, or whatever. You don't need to get your hands or a hand on that ball. You don't need to make a save to be successful in a 1v1. As long as that ball doesn't hit the back of the net, and that's as a result of what you've done, you've been successful. I'll jump back up one. Make yourself as big as you need to be based on the scenario. So you'll see there that I've kind of broken things down into distances. The closer I am to the ball, I don't need to be as big and as wide and as long as some goalkeepers might think you need to be. You need to be compact. You need to defend the amount of goal essentially that the attacker can see. If you're spreading from 2 yards, you're opening up a high percentage of that goal through your legs or in between your arms and your legs to the attacker. Obviously, the further away you are, 4 to 6 yards, you need to defend more of the goal. So can that reflect in your body shape? And then again, 7 yards plus, set your feet. In terms of being big, if I'm closer, so if I'm close at that 7 yard distance, can I be a little bit lower and wider, ready to react? If I'm further away, can I be a little bit taller and a little bit narrower? Mentioned it earlier, commit 100% to every decision that you make. So you don't want to get stuck in a position, and we even see pro keepers do this. They start to go, and then they don't go, and then they back off, and then they step, and then they drop. That indecision makes the life a lot easier for the attacker. You see your touch, you start to move, whether that's you're dropping or whether that's advancing. What else you want to be thinking about is you see your touch, you step, the attacker gets back in control of the ball, you set, you control. Finally, be positive, be aggressive. So again, positive in every decision that you make, aggressive, it's controlled, it's explosive, it's powerful actions. It's not going out to hurt anybody. Okay, so that is kind of my interpretation of 1v1s and how to deal with them in general. As I say, you might be able to piece little bits together. Might not be that you need to do everything in defending the goal. It might be that you get some of defending the goal and some of it blocking or whatever, you know. It's but generally that they're the guidelines that I would work on or work along when dealing with 1v1s, and especially when teaching and coaching. So on that, if anybody's still awake, I know a few of you were lying in bed. Does anybody have any questions on anything that I've put out there? If you do, just pop your mic on and ask away.
How can you work on your concentration?
How can you work on your concentration? So, how old are you, Jack?
8.
8. You know what I would say to an 8-year-old? You're not going to keep focusing, you're not going to keep concentration for a full game. It is going to be hard purely because of your age. The older you get, the easier it is to concentrate. I like to turn that one around. Instead of going, can you concentrate? I like to say to goalkeepers, can you stay connected to the game? So what that means is every time the ball moves, you adjust. Okay, so if the ball travels further away from your goal, you'll step away from your goal. If it travels close at your goal, you'll travel close at your goal. If the ball goes to the left-hand side of the pitch, you take a step, 2 steps to your left, turn your body. If it goes on the right side of the pitch, turn your body, take a couple of steps. So it's just about, it's not concentration, it's not focus, it's about a connection. Okay, so it's seeing things, and even just moving like that, not if the ball goes out of play, don't go and look at another pitch or speak to somebody on the sideline. Can use it as an opportunity to speak to a teammate. So obviously staying connected by responding to the ball moving, and also through little bits of communication as well. Is that okay?
Yeah, excellent, thank you.
No problem. Anybody else? Any other questions? Don't be shy. Let's think who are on. Hayden, have you got a question?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, very, very interesting, Stephen. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Have you got any questions, Nabil?
No, it's okay right now. Maybe when I have to see back the see again, sorry, the presentation, maybe I'm gonna come back to you with 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah.
But right now, I think everything is clear, and yeah, maybe I have to share with you something, and
Yeah.
because I have to go to train right now in a few minutes. That's why it's a little bit complicated for me. And
no
yeah,
problem.
for sure. But I appreciate, you do a very, very interesting and good job, Stephen, because you talk about a lot of, aspects of 1v1 and in different angles. And I think it's brilliant, from you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Stephen, did you record the presentation, please?
Yes, this has been recorded, so
Can you share it? Is it possible?
Of course. It's going up on YouTube.
Okay, on YouTube. Okay,
as soon as that's out there, I'll share it with you.
Okay, thanks a lot. And when I have some questions, for sure I'm gonna have 1 or 2, because of time I can't ask them right now, because of the training that I have to do with the goalkeepers. And
no problem.
When you have time, you can answer me, because it's very important for me, to know some other things,
Yeah, definitely, no problem at all.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and thanks, guys, and hi from Quebec City, the French part of Canada, and I hope hope once you come here, Stephen, to do something with me, and we're gonna find some goalkeepers and do some stuff.
That would be good. Yeah, I'm always up for traveling.
Okay,
always up for seeing the world and working with goalkeepers. So definitely appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Ciao, guys.
Take care.
Hi, guys. Take care of you, guys. Thanks.
Okay, guys. Any more questions, please? Hayden, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
When you watch a football match, like, commentators just talk about the diving saves, and the goalkeepers don't get enough credit for one-on-ones because you have to be brave.
No, definitely. I mean, that's it's a huge reason why I'm doing certain things. So you'll have seen some of the analysis stuff on YouTube as well. There isn't. Look, there's not enough expertise currently in the media. You watch football, Sky Sports, BT, who are your goalkeepers? Who are your ex-professional goalkeepers? You'll maybe get one on once every 3 to 4 weeks, I think, if you're lucky. And even then, they don't get a great opportunity to speak. I think, I'm not sure if it was the weekend gone or the weekend before, there was a goalkeeper or an ex-pro commentating, and he did make some fantastic points. But yeah, you're right. They'll call out the obvious, and they'll praise the obvious, or they'll criticise maybe his goals that have been conceded, that goalkeepers that maybe his goalkeepers couldn't have done anything else with, or they'll essentially just criticise a mistake where it's a great opportunity to educate, or try and put across some level of understanding for people watching. But yeah, no, it's a great point. Like, goalkeepers, I don't think goalkeepers are praised enough in general. I think if anything, we'll get the harsh end of it a lot of the time. But yeah, definitely, I think that there just needs to be a lot more education out there for people. People watching, commentators, fans, everybody. Anybody else? Who else do I have on? Trying to think. Any other questions from anyone? Is everybody happy with what we've spoke about there? Is it all quite clear?
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
No problem.